As his critics charged, the Alter Rebbe's position was clearly panentheistic. Panentheistic is the theological stance affirming that all, pan, reality is in an, God, theos. Creation is an extension of God, just as a wave is an extension of the ocean. Just as waves are nothing without the ocean, so the myriad forms of God, visible to us as self and other, are nothing without God. The aim of Chabad is to realize this nothingness, Ein, in every form, Yesh. Chabad's panentheism, however, should not be mistaken for world denying or in any way denigrating of the body. On the contrary, form, Yesh, is no less God than emptiness, Ein. God's non-duality, Shlemut, does not allow for one or the other and necessitates both. Because the world of form matters, Chabad emphasizes keeping the mitzvot of Judaism, the spiritual practices designed to reveal the unity of the one and the many. As Tanya makes clear, as his critics charged, the Alter Rebbe's position was clearly
Lesbians? I don't know. People like to get naked and do their nude night. I don't know. Maybe they're lesbians. Well, here in Switzerland, the saunas are supposed to be nude, right? Only, and they're mixed a lot of the times. So they got tits and dicks. Yeah, and you.
Okay, this is 10 minutes of Tanya Torah Chabad. 5 kinds of humans our sages taught. Before you were born, you were taught, and before you were born, you promised. Be righteous and not wicked. And even if the entire world calls you righteous, consider yourself wicked. This teaching seems to contradict an older one. Do not regard yourself as wicked. The Gemara resolves this contradiction, teaching us that humans can be divided into 5 categories: the righteous who succeed in erasing all selfishness, the righteous who fail to erase all selfishness, the wicked who succeed in holding on to some inkling of selflessness, the wicked who fail to consider anything or anyone but themselves, and the in-betweener. The righteous who succeed are those who are motivated solely by their inclination towards selflessness. The righteous who fail are those who wrestle with yet control their inclination toward selfishness. The 5. Talmud Nida 30, Pirkei Avot. Gemara is the latter part of the Talmud, written between 250 and 550 CE. Talmud Berachot 7a provides the first 4 categories. Rosh Hashanah 16b provides the 5th. Benoni, literally an in-betweener, is a person who is neither saint nor sinner, but one who has elements of both. Yetzer HaTov, the good inclination, the inclination towards selfless service to others. Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, the inclination towards selfishness. The wicked, the righteous who fail are those who wrestle with the righteous who succeed are those who are motivated solely by their inclination towards selflessness. The righteous who fail are those who wrestle with yet control their inclination towards selfishness. The wicked who succeed are those who wrestle with but fail to control their inclination towards selfishness. The wicked who fail are those who are motivated solely by their inclination towards selfishness. Talmud Nida 30, Pirkei Avot, Gemara. The in-betweener is motivated by both inclinations and must continually struggle to bind the selfish to the selfless. The Benoni, literally the in-betweener, is someone with the capacity for both good and evil, who continually struggles to turn from evil and do good. Turning from evil means expanding your consciousness from neshama, the egoic intelligence that sees the Berea world of independent and competing selves, to Chaya, the soul intelligence that sees reality as absolute, a world of interdependent and cooperating selves. Doing good is acting for the welfare of both self and other, rooted in the understanding of the unity of self and other. Neshama and Chaya are 2 of the 5 intelligences to which you have access. Each intelligence sees reality in its own way. In addition to Neshama and Chaya that are Nefesh, the intelligence of the world of Asiya, preconscious matter, Ruach, the intelligence of the world of Yetzirah. The in-betweener is motive. In addition to Neshama and Chaya that are Nefesh, the intelligence of the world of Asiya, preconscious matter, Ruach, the intelligence of the world of Yetzirah, instinctual drives and feelings, the Yechidah, the intelligence of the world of Adam Kadmon, where all things are seen as the one thing, God. All 5 intelligences are operating all the time. The world you perceive depends on the intelligence you use to see it. Where the righteous strive to escape the lower worlds of Asiya, Yetzirah, and Berea, are the higher worlds of Atzilut and Adam Kadmon, and the wicked deny there are any higher worlds at all. The Benoni seeks to understand the system as a whole and hallow all worlds through acts of love. Oh, speaking of love, my ex-lover is here. Hello, Isa. Okay, I'm moving on to chapter 2. This is a reading of Tanya, the masterpiece of Hasidic wisdom. I'm creating YouTube clips because this is my morning meditation. This is my morning positive vibration, because this app, just the casual conversations, honestly, they don't leave me feeling good. And so I'm taking control of my communication, what I'm listening to and what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that I'm opposed to casual conversation, but honestly, I like having casual conversation at nighttime. In the morning, I feel like this is the best time to start your day right, because I have a lot of shit I have to do. Okay, this next one is called God, Wisdom, and Your Essential Nature. The inclination towards selflessness is a part of God above, as it is written, and He blew into the nostrils the breath of life. Blowing comes from the innermost depths of your being. So your very life, your innermost essence, is the innermost essence of God. This innermost essence manifests in you as divine wisdom, but the wisdom of God is not knowable the way other wisdom is knowable, for God is simultaneously knower, knowledge, and known. This is what you are told when you read, "Can you find God by searching?" And what God reveals to you, saying, "My thoughts are not your thoughts." God and wisdom are one, and God being unknowable makes wisdom knowable as well, unknowable as well. And yet all beings have their essence and root in the divine wisdom, as it is written, "You have made them all with wisdom." What is your true nature, your Penemayut, each of the five intelligences? For Nefesh, it is matter. For Ruach, it is biological drives. For Neshama, it is will and power. For Chaya, it is love. And for Yechida, it is wisdom. While none is false, Yechida is the most true. For non-duality, perceived by Yechida, sees all five as variations of God. This is what wisdom is, the realization that all is God. This wisdom is already within you. Psalm 104:24. Indeed, it is you, and you can no more seek it out than you can bite your own teeth. What you need to do is cease to be distracted by the glittering shell of self and selfishness, Kelipat Noga, and see reality as it is, the infinite outpouring of the infinite God. As the Alter Rebbe will explain, you do this by placing yourself in situations of overwhelming love, awe, and humility, and in this way awaken the facility of Kokma wisdom, which makes transparent As the Alter Rebbe will explain, you do this by placing yourself in situations of overwhelming love, awe, and humility, and in this way awaken the facility of Kokma wisdom, which makes transparent the otherwise opaque shell of self, allowing Neshama to be surrendered to Chaya, the way the light of a single burning candle is surrendered in the noonday sun. Penemayut inwardness, God blew life into you from the innermost depths of divinity. Kokma, Maimonides, Mishnah, Torah, Chilchat, Yosodi, Yachatoira. The inclination towards selflessness is a part of God above, as it is written, and He blew into His nostrils the breath of life. Blowing comes from the innermost depths of your being, so your very life, your innermost essence, is the innermost essence of God. This innermost essence manifests itself in you as divine wisdom, but the wisdom of God is not knowable for the way other is not knowable the way other wisdom is knowable, for God is simultaneously knower, knowledge, and known. As the Alter Rebbe will explain, you do this. Okay, this is chapter 3. It's called The Three Mothers. The three mothers, wisdom, reason, and knowing. The intelligence of body, heart, and egoic mind manifest through the 10 emanations. These emanations are divided into 2 categories: the three mothers, intuitive wisdom, rational understanding, and integrative knowledge, and the 7 days, compassion, justice, balance, persistence, surrender, direction, and groundedness. The three mothers are intellect, the quality of discernment. The 7 days are the qualities of godliness you are to cultivate. The three mothers are called mothers because they give birth to the 7 qualities of godliness. Intuitive wisdom is the first among the mothers, intuiting the essence of what is. Rational understanding filters intuition through reason, birthing integrated knowledge, the knowledge of things as they are. Together, the mothers reveal the qualities of godliness. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, the physical, emotional, and egoic intelligence, respectively, the 10 Sepharot. The three mothers, wisdom. Ego is kind of interesting. Ego is almost like AI, meaning that it's like what perpetuates the activity, even if it's stupid activity. The 10 Sephirot, literally numbers, are the building blocks of creation. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malkut. Each day of the week has its own quality, Midah. Beginning with Sunday, Chesed, compassion. Seichel, Midot. This is a pun on the word Kokma, splitting the word in two. The Alter Rebbe understands wisdom as the capacity to intuit the suchness, Kok, of what is Ma. The in-between it doesn't reject, transcend, or escape body, heart, or egoic mind, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, for they no less than soul and spirit, Chaya and Yechida, are manifestations of God. On the contrary, the in-between activates the innate wisdom, understanding, and knowing the three mothers that reside in body, heart, and mind, and cultivates the respective capacities for compassion, justice, balance, persistence, surrender, direction, and groundedness. The 7 days. The 10 Sephirot, literally numbered. My friend, the trash bag. Oh my god, I heard you in Issa's room talking about chicks with dicks. I'm like, alright, I'll have to try to read a book. I can't start my day off listening to It's me, Zach Ruda, the trash bag, talking about chicks with dicks and saunas in Switzerland. I can't do it, Zach. I can't start my morning coffee with that sound reverberating in my brain. I'm just teasing you. I mean, this is all for fun, but yeah, I'm more than happy to say hello to you if you want to say hi, but I am reading Tanya and creating YouTube videos. I'm doing what I said I'm gonna do. I'm doing what I told you to do actually, because I was like, you know what, this book has to be like chopped up and put on YouTube. It's so smart. But listen to this. I read this morning. It was kind of funny. As his critics charged, the Alter Rebbe's position was clearly panentheistic. Panentheism is the theological stance affirming that all, or pan, reality is an God theos. Theos is Greek for God, and all reality, pan, is what Aleister Crowley, you read that one hymn to Pan, remember that? So Chabad is not that far away from esoteric Freemasonry, which is, interesting. I hate to say it's like paganism, because it's not, but it's just like intelligence, or it's really philosophy, because a lot of people can't accept the fact that Alish es God, all is God. That seems ridiculous to a lot of people. Okay, we're moving on to the three garments, thought, word, and deed. Also, the 7 days is kind of interesting. This is another word for Monday, Tuesday through Sunday. It's the Sephirot, which is compassion, justice, balance, persistence, surrender, direction, and groundedness. The 7 days. The 10 Sephirot numbers, yeah. So anyways, it's just amazing, the overlay. Okay, this is the three garments. The degree to which the egoic intelligence is awake to its divine quarters is revealed through three garments, thought, speech, and action. When you live Torah, speak Torah, and think Torah, you are fully alive. Living Torah is love, for the positive practices are grounded in love, and living them is loving God, for God and Torah are one. The vastness of God can never be plumbed, yet godliness is known. Godliness is humility, as it is written, where you find the vastness of God, you find God's humility. This is why Torah is compared to water. Just as water flows from the highest to the lowest, so Torah, the wisdom of God, flows from the most transcendent to the most immanent, so that every life is bound up in life. Torah, literally instruction, manifests in 5 dimensions, corresponding to the 5 worlds. The degree to which I didn't know Torah meant instruction. I mean, I think it means wisdom, basically, because, anyways, it doesn't matter. Here we go. The Torah of Asiya is, do I not fill heaven and earth? Jeremiah 23:24. The Torah of Yetzirah is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18. The Torah of Bariah is, Justice, justice you shall pursue. Deuteronomy 16:20, the Torah of absolute is, you shall love the infinite your God with fullness of heart, with spaciousness of soul, and with all you have and are. Deuteronomy 6:5. And the Torah of Adam, Kadmon, is I am the one and only, there is nothing other than me. Isaiah 45:5. When you live Torah in each dimension, the thoughts, words, and deeds you bring into the world are expressions of wisdom. The way of the in-betweener is the way of Torah. Doing mitzvot to realize the unity of all worlds and the singular reality of God. The three garments, thought, word, and deed. Okay, that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 videos or 11 minutes of reading plus 2 live streams. And somebody in the YouTube chat wrote, a bald Jew? I'm telling you, it's actually better to be bald, because if I wasn't bald, I wouldn't be able to gaslight people. People just like, it's the only thing they got on you instantaneously. Like, oh, he's bald. He's bald! Okay, so we're going to take a break here as I title all of these videos. So this has been 10 minutes of Tanya Toy Rechabad. If you want to come up and say anything, now would be the time as I title these videos. The five. So this is called Psychology of Now. Because in the now is the all. I hope the altar rebbe doesn't mind that I'm committing copyright violation on his incredible treatise on wisdom. Wisdom of Now. This is Eckhart Tolle. In the now. I do a good Eckhart Tolle impersonation, but I have to listen to him for a minute to get his mannerism, I guess. So this is called The Power of Now. Now, this philosophy really upsets a lot of Christians. Christians are very sensitive about everything that is outside of their programming on this app. Power of the All God. This book is God, these words are God, the speaker's God, the listener's God, the app is God, the software's God, the phone is God, the earth is God, the math is God. Alles ist Gott! All Father, all Mother, all Father and all Mother. My mother is God. Even that nasally Midwest voice accent is God. When she complains to the plumber's God, the pipes are God, the water's God. Alles ist Gott! Divine Jewish wisdom. Panentheistic. All is Pan. Pan, 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 I am a man. Do as thou wilt as a great God can. Pan, the all God. The all God now. If you use certain words, the algorithm entertains these videos. You know, joy, equilibrium, peace, meditation, wisdom. They perform better if you use more words and maybe more positive words. Meditation, peace, joy now. And I've been tagging all the Chabad YouTube channels. So hopefully they're, you know, whoever the webmaster is, they're like, oh, this stuff is great. This is fabulous, but he's committing copyright violation. Plus, he doesn't speak Hebrew. There's no way he would be able to know all this without what's called a book. A book. Hashtag book. Oh my God, he's reading a book. What are we gonna do? We're gonna have to give him what's called a schizoanalysis. This guy's crazy. He's reading a book. We can't have that. That's not right. He's attempting to do therapy. He's attempting to make himself smarter and learn new words. No! Stop him! Somebody stop him! That's not what this app was meant for. This app was meant to hypnotize you, to make you feel like shit. He's reverse engineering the problem and reading a book. This can't happen. We have to stop him. This app was meant for Democrat propaganda, misinformation, and raw dog hypnosis. Somebody stop this madman who's reading a book instead of talking with all the degenerates. But they're all God. How can that be? How can everyone here on this app be an extension of the infinite divine creation if all they're doing is talking about nothing? I hope you guys are laughing. I hope this comes off as funny and not stupid and cringe, but you understand that this is humor. Humor me. Okay, we're gonna do one more set of recordings, and then maybe we will do 3 sets, but yeah, we'll probably do 3 recordings or 3 rounds of 10. Also, I read the glossary on here yesterday, and that was really good because it's reading all the chapters, but it's because, I don't have these words memorized, and it's kind of conceptually kind of hard to understand, not the hierarchy, but the hierarchy and the relationships. This is why chopping it up into 1-minute bits is very valuable, because what I'm really doing here is expanding my vocabulary or large language model, incorporating esoteric Hebrew. So it's illuminating for the mind, and it's kind of complicated, but it's not that complicated. And I know, Zach, you have great reading comprehension and integration, so maybe this has already been very beneficial for you, because every time I talk to you, you seem to know the buzzwords. I'm like, oh wow, he's good. This guy's good. Okay, this is called Unity Beyond Thought. This is chapter 5. All hail Zach Ruda. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, I think that you're doing something good. You're providing a service to the world. You are a mensch.
Yeah, Elon Musk in Green Bay, he's like, if you want to start a business, you have to create something that's very useful for people, and it's actually very difficult to be useful. So it turns out that this is like the best way that I know how to be useful for people, and I think it is very valuable. So it's useful.
It is useful.
Words from a book. They're useful. Who would have thunk? Okay, this is chapter 5, Unity Beyond Thought. You want to say anything before I hit this?
No, I'm doing some computer work here.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got to do too. Thank you. That's what I got to do too today. This is why I'm doing this now, so I don't get distracted later after I finish this and go to the gym. Then when I come back, I'm going to do all the shit I got to do. Here we go. Oh, and I got a phone call with the complaint hotline at 1 o'clock. Here we go. Unity beyond thought. How shall we understand the words of Elijah? No thoughts can grasp you. You? When you think a thought, you are greater than the thought. But when that thought is of Torah, which is rooted in God, the thought is greater than you. And you become absorbed into the thought, and in this way you and God are one. This is a glorious union unlike any other. It has no parallel in the material world, for the unity is complete from every side and every perspective, something that occurs only when the mind is invested in Torah and at once with God. Hence the command in Torah, rather than to merely study Torah, is in fact a command to know God by allowing your intellect to be suffused with the divine light that is Torah. This is the meaning of the teaching. Yea, your Torah is within my inward parts. This is the meaning of the teaching. Yea, your Torah is within my inward parts, which is to say that God's wisdom permeates all life, and this is what is meant by engaging with Torah with the sole intent of achieving union with God by concentrating your mind to the best of your ability. Tikkun Zohar, hence no thought can grasp God, but God can grasp the thinker. Intellect, cycle, is composed to Chokmah, Bina, and Da'at, intuitive wisdom, rational understanding, and integrated knowledge. When these three faculties of the mind are open to one another and to the more inclusive intelligence of Chaya, you realize all is God. Torah Lishma, studying Torah for its own sake, which is to achieve union with God. God is beyond thought, but Torah is not. You cannot grasp God, but you can grasp godliness. When you engage Torah study for its own sake, Torah Lishma. And I'm all out of weed, so it makes this a very pure reading, I suppose. Here we go. God is beyond thought, but Torah is not. You cannot grasp God, but you can grasp godliness. When you engage Torah study for its own sake, Torah Lishma, selflessly and for the sole purpose of embodying godliness, your mind becomes absorbed in Torah. And because Torah is the expression of God as godliness, your mind is absorbed in God. Imagine a fresh sponge submerged in a tub of water. The longer it stays submerged, the more the water fills every facet of its being. In time, the sponge and water are one. Neshama is like this sponge. The longer your intellect cycle is engaged with Torah, the more it realizes that it is filled with God. In time, it comes to the realization of Da'at Devakut, the knowledge of the absolute unity of all things in, with, and as God. This is not the highest union, for there is still a knower. The Neshama is not lost to itself, just no longer lost in itself. Yet this level of realization shatters the Neshama's false sense of alienation. God is beyond thought, but Torah isn't. Yet this level of realization shatters the Neshama's false sense of alienation and leaves Neshama motivated to live Torah by doing justly, loving mercy, and walking humbly. Micah 6:8. Okay, this is called the necessity of opposites. the necessity of opposites. Everything has its opposite, as it is written. God has created one thing and the other. Just as the three garments, when rooted in godliness, reflect selflessness, so when rooted in the other side, they reflect your sense of being a separate self. The garments absorbed in God are godly. The garments absorbed in self are petty. Yet even the other side is necessary, veiling the pure light of God to create the illusion of other, that the other might yet come to know the one. Ecclesiastes 7:14. Thought, word, and deed. Sitra achra, other side, your sense of being cut off from God. Keripat noga, glittering shell, your sense of separate selfhood. It is called noga, glittering, because it distracts the neshama from the greater truth of its unity with God. Just as front goes with back, so the one goes with the many. God is not limited to either, but manifests and transcends them both. The non-duality of God, Shlamut, necessitates the manifestation of all things and their opposite. The Sitra Achra is the other side of God's oneness, the side that insists that it is other than and alienated from God. Why would God choose to manifest in this way? It is not a matter of choice. God has no choice but to be God. Being God means manifesting everything in its opposite. Just as a magnet doesn't choose to have a negative pole, so God doesn't choose to manifest Sitra Achra. Just as a magnet cannot be a magnet without both positive and negative poles, so God cannot be God without both sides. The Sitra Achra, while being the source of selfishness and evil, is not in and of itself evil. It is, as all things are, part of the infinite creativity of God. The task of the in-betweener is not to eliminate Sitra Achra, but to enlighten it. I think you said that the other day, Zach. It's like to transmute evil into good. Using the body for good. This is chapter 7. Using the body for good. Physical desire is necessarily selfish. Seeing the body as an end in itself rather than a means of divine service. Yet even physical desire contains a spark of holiness. Because this is so, physical desire, while rarely self-transcending, can sometimes be steeped in compassion and goodness. For example, eating a meal of fat beef and spiced wine is a neutral act, but if done to make your mind more receptive to the teachings of Torah, or to honor the Sabbath and festivals, your intention to serve God elevates the act and all involved in service to God. The same can be said of humor. If a joke is told to sharpen the mind and uplift the heart, it is in service to God. This what is meant when we say an action is permitted. It is permitted because it releases the self from the bonds of selfishness. Talmud Pesachim 117a, Rava was said to punctuate his Torah lessons with humor. Mutar, permitted, released, a rabbinic category of permitted actions. Because mutar means both permitted and released, the Alter Rebbe sees the second meaning as the rationale behind the first. The in-betweener is not an ascetic. Pleasures of the body are not denied to you. On the contrary, they are there for you to hallow. For example, if eating and drinking are done solely to please the self, their full potential is not realized. When you eat and drink to sustain your life so that you can be of service to God and others, then the act of eating and drinking is hallowed. This is why permitted actions are called mutar, those deeds that release the narrow self into the greater reality of God and godliness. They are not simply permitted, but have the potential to unchain you from the constrictive illusion that you and the world you inhabit are separate from God and the universe as a whole. Because everything is part of God, everything can be used in the service of godliness. Talmud Yoma. The Talmudic sage Rava claimed that drinking wine made him more receptive to discovering the inner meanings of Torah. Permitted, released, rabbinic category. Oh my gosh, drinking wine? Drinking alcohol speeds things up a little bit? Who would have thought? Okay, so this is called using the body for evil. Using the body for evil. Just as there are permitted actions that free you from the self, so are there prohibited actions that keep you being chained to the self. Suppose you are tired and eat to regain the strength to perform a spiritual deed. If the food you eat is permitted, the act of eating elevates the food by using its energy in godly service. But if you unwittingly eat a forbidden food, even the intention of serving God cannot elevate the food because the forbidden is held captive to the other side. What is true regarding what goes into your mouth is true regarding what comes out as well. If you engage in innocent chatter, meaning no harm but wasting precious breath on the inconsequential, you can be cleansed. But if your speech is deliberately wicked, if you engage in mockery or slander, such deeds drag you into hell. By using your words more wisely. Gehenna or hell is the world of needless pain and suffering you inhabit when you deliberately set out to harm others. In this and the previous chapter, the using the body for evil. That's why, Zach, I think technically this app is like hell. Because there's so much slander and mockery. So, I don't know if you know this, but you are a hell dweller. Is this hell right now? No, it's not. Here we go. In this and the previous chapter, the Alter Rebbe sets forth 3 categories of behavior: permitted, forbidden, and neutral. He also introduces the idea of intent. What you do, what is permitted or neutral with the intent of gratifying only yourself, the deed never lifts you beyond the self. If, however, you act with the intent of doing something godly, something for the sake of others as well as yourself, then the act hollows the actor and all things involved in that act. Intent, however, cannot hollow that which is forbidden. The forbidden is forbidden, asur, because it chains you to self and selfishness. No matter what your intent, and being so chained is what it is to live in hell. Using the body for evil. The opposite of mutar is asur, prohibited, chained, a rabbinic category of forbidden actions. A sacred commandment, an act of godliness designed to awaken you to God. There are some things so tightly chained to the Sitra Achra, the place of selfishness, that they cannot be hallowed. In this and the previous... Okay, this is the secret yearning for God. Okay, I'm inviting more people to the room and I'm sharing the room. Trying to post it to X. You know what's interesting is these rooms delete, in your profile. They don't delete, you can't view them anymore. But if you post the link to the room and there's a replay on it, I think the room is actually stored, but not visible through Clownhouse, which is ridiculous. Because if you go to my profile, there's only like 10 rooms. But I have, thousands of rooms, but you just can't view them. It's crazy. Okay, this is called The Secret Yearning for the Good. There's only 2 more minutes left. Here we go. You have 2 natures, physical and spiritual, and each has its own voice. The physical speaks as self-serving passion through the left side of your heart. The spiritual speaks as awakened intellect through the right side of your heart. As it is written, the heart of the wise is on the right. These 2 natures battle to control your body, like 2 armies besieging a city, for the body is called a small city. While the physical resists the spiritual embraces the physical, as it is written, and you shall love Yahweh your God with all your heart, the left and the right. This all-encompassing love is called infinite. In such love, even the inclination towards selfishness is redeemed. For even it desires what is perceived as good, and when fulfilled with infinite love, it comes to know the true good, and so turns away from evil and does good. Hence, even the inclination towards selfishness and the bounded separate self desire to serve God, even as they entice you from such service. Natures, physical and... In this they are like the seductress of the Zohar. Hence, the inclination towards selfishness and the bounded separate self desire to serve God, even as they entice you from such service. In this they are like the seductress of the Zohar. Okay, these are the subnotes. Avarabah, infinite love, the evil inclination, the inclination towards selfishness. Yetzer Hara and Kalipat Noga, the inclination towards selfishness and the sense of separate self from which it arises and to which it lends support. Zohar 2:16-3a. The Zohar tells of a king who hired a prostitute to test the moral character of his son. The woman used all her wiles to seduce the boy, but she harbored in her heart the hope that she would fail. So it is with the inclination towards selfishness, Yetzer Hara. While it focuses on the self, it does so as a part of the non-duality shlamut of God and secretly hopes you will choose a path other than the way of selfishness it is offering you. There is a battle raging within you between selfishness and selflessness. The inclination towards selfishness, Yetzer Hara, and the inclination towards selflessness, Yetzer Tov. And while it is possible that one nation shall prevail over the other nation, Genesis 25, it is not possible for one nation to eradicate the other. The task of the in-betweener is not to defeat the physical, but to embrace it in Ahava Rabbah, infinite and all-consuming love. It's kind of interesting. We should create a room called Genesis 25:23. One nation shall prevail. And while it is possible that one nation shall prevail over the other nation, it is not possible for one nation to eradicate. Ooh, that's going to cause a lot of problems on this app. Because the Free Pally movement is so obsessed and they think that they're trying to eradicate. Okay, that's it. That's the full suite. I'm going to do one more set, but that is, that's your 10 minutes of Toyota right there. That's 20 minutes of Toyota.
You don't have 20 minutes for Hashem?
People don't even have 1 minute for Hashem anymore. People are so busy talking so much. Wow. The video's doing very good. But I'm like changing the titles, which is kind of funny. Oh, this phone is worthless. Worthless! Okay, this is the third part of the 10 minutes of Toyura. This will be the last recording that I do. This is only going to be 10 minutes. Here we go. There is a battle raging within you between selfishness and selflessness. The inclination towards selfishness, Yetzer Hara, and the inclination towards selflessness, Yetzer Hatov. While it is possible that one nation shall prevail over the other nation, Genesis 25:23, it is not possible for one nation to eradicate the other. The task of the in-betweener is not to defeat the physical, but to embrace it in Ahava Rabbah, infinite and all-consuming love. Your physical nature, your Yetzer Hara in the shell of self, Kalipat God that it feeds, is not your enemy. In fact, it wants to be uplifted. It fights hard to be heard because it knows that the true awakening is not at the expense of the physical, but through the unification of the spiritual and the physical in the non-duality of God. This all-encompassing love is called infinite. In such love, even the inclination towards selfishness is redeemed, for even it desires what it perceives as good. There is a battle raging within you. And when filled with infinite love, it comes to know the true good, and so it turns away from evil and does good. Okay, this next one is number 10. It's called The Purpose of Transformation. Oh, the Duke is here. The purpose of transformation. To the completely righteous, one can say, eradicate the evil from your midst, for they know only good, and employ the pleasures of the world solely in service to God. Such people are called those who ascend, for they lift up even evil to its source in the good. But do not imagine you are such as they. As Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai says, I have seen the ascending ones and they are rare. Even Rabbi Chaya, who sought the way of ascent, was warned. Only those who can realize darkness as light and bitter as sweet may enter here. The purpose of this transformation is the unification of the transcendent with the immanent, even in the lowest of worlds. Zohar 1:4a. Only those who know the unity of opposites in God can achieve this awakening. God is both the transcendent one and the immanent many. The transcendent is called the Holy One, is said to be the masculine side of God. The immanent is called Shekhinah, the presence of God, and is said to be the feminine side of God. Zohar 2114b, 3222b, and 3288a. The realization of God's non-duality, Shemut, is called Da'at Devekut, the awareness of the unity of God, woman, man, and nature. Complete tzaddikim are those B'nai Aliyah who know that there is no darkness without light, or bitterness without sweetness, and who thus see all opposites as manifestations of God. This is Da'at Devekut, the realization that the Holy One and the Shekhinah are one. The complete tzaddik knows this innately, and the in-betweener has to attain it through disciplined practice. Only those who can realize darkness as light and bitter as sweet may enter here, the purpose of transformation. To the completely righteous one can say, eradicate the evil from your midst. For they know only good and employ the pleasures of the world solely in service to God. Such people are called those who ascend, for they lift up even evil to its source in the good. B'nai Aliyah, those who ascend to the more inclusive levels of intelligence. Shimon ben Yochai, 1st century Rabbi Tana of the Mishnaic period, is traditionally thought to be the author of the Zohar, the central text of Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. The Alter Rebbe is paraphrasing the Talmud, Sukkah, and Sanhedrin. Rabbi Chaya was a contemporary of Shimon ben Yochai. Redemption from evil. The wicked is the antithesis of the righteous, for the one is obsessed with self, while the other is free from self. Yet not everyone who succumbs to evil does so to the same degree. Some commit minor offenses, and these only rarely. And the offenses are followed by genuine feelings of remorse and an authentic quest for forgiveness, at which point they are wicked no longer. Such a one is this. God forgives you through one of the three forms of forgiveness. Even those who sin are serious, can repent and find forgiveness. As a rabbi said, the wicked are full of remorse. These too are forgiven. Yet there are those so wicked, so imprisoned in self and selfishness. Yet there are those so wicked, so imprisoned in self and selfishness, that goodness cannot penetrate them at all. Yet even here there is hope, for goodness surrounds them, waiting for even the slightest crack by which it might enter. Rasha is the opposite of the Tzaddik. Talmud Yoma 86a, the first level of divine forgiveness, reserved for minor offenses of omission, comes immediately at the moment of repentance, tshuva. Turning from evil and doing good, the second level of divine forgiveness, reserved for offenses of commission, comes at the conclusion of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. The third level of divine forgiveness, reserved for offenses for which the punishment is karet, exile from the community, comes after the person feels genuine remorse, effects real behavioral change, observes Yom Kippur, and is horrified by the mere idea of karet. Talmud Nedarim, not all editions of the Talmud contain this phrase. Goodness in this case is called makif, meaning to surround. The Alter Rebbe is saying that even those who have banished goodness from their hearts are still surrounded by it. Goodness in this case is called makif, meaning to surround. The Alter Rebbe is saying that even those who have banished goodness from their hearts are still surrounded by it, and should their hearts break open over another's suffering, goodness will flow in and lead them to redemption. In other words, no one, no matter how evil, is deprived of the opportunity to make repentance, tshuva, and find forgiveness. Tanya is loath to condemn anyone or to imagine anyone to be beyond redemption. Indeed, the label Rasha, wicked, applies only when a person is actively engaged in evil and should not be used to suggest that a person is permanently evil. This is because even the wicked are full of remorse. Talmud Nedarim, and surrounded by makif, by goodness. Talmud Yoma 86a. Rasha is the opposite of Tzaddik. The first level of divine forgiveness, reserved for minor offenses of omission, comes immediately at the moment of repentance, tshuva, turning from evil and doing good. The wicked is the antithesis of the righteous, for the one is obsessed with self, while the other is free from self. Redemption from evil. In this case is called makif, meaning to surround. The Alter Rebbe is saying that even those who have banished goodness from their hearts are... Okay, only 4 minutes left in this Torah study. Hope you're enjoying it. Okay, this is called Bringing Light into Darkness. Bringing light into darkness. Even in the strongest in-betweener, evil is never totally vanquished. Yet there are times, especially during the Shema and the Amidah, when you are completely surrendered to God, your intellect awash in sublime ecstasy, and emptied in deep contemplation of the infinite spaciousness of the endless one. At such moments evil is overcome and nullified. When the ecstasy passes, the selfish passions return, yet everyone is born with the capacity to turn these passions Godward. As it is written, then I saw that wisdom surpasses folly, as light surpasses darkness. As light effortlessly defeats darkness and yet cannot erase it, so the in-betweener defeats evil, yet negative thoughts continue to arise. Do not dwell upon such thoughts, but thrust them aside with both hands, countering the selfish with the selfless, refraining from anger and offering kindness even to those who offend you. An in-betweener is not sometimes good and sometimes evil, but rather forever engaged in bringing light into dark. An in-betweener is not sometimes good and sometimes evil, but rather forever engaged in bringing selfish passions under the influence of selfless service. While this sounds like a life of inner struggle, the way itself is in fact effortless, just as a burning candle doesn't struggle against the darkness, but effortlessly keeps it at bay. So you are not to fight your selfish nature, only to kindle the flame of kindness. Refraining from anger and offering kindness to everyone are how you live the way of the in-betweener. The Benoni in-betweener always struggles with both sides of the heart, the inclination for good and the inclination for evil. When contemplating the Shema, hear Shema, O Israel, the infinite is God, the infinite is one. You surrender to the oneness of God, erasing all sense of separate self. The Amidah, standing prayer, is the central part of Jewish worship. During the Amidah, you stand in the presence of God and utter a node. In that presence, the way a wave is a node in the ocean. In Zohar 3:22, we are taught that while passions arise of their own, accord outside your control, you can choose how to respond to them. Okay, 2 more to go. This is called internal conflict. Internal conflict. The in-betweener is judged by both inclinations, judged by them, not ruled by them. The in-betweener listens to the claims of both inclinations and judges between them. When a physical desire arises, the left side of your heart is aroused to pursue it. This is the voice of the inclination toward selfishness. Bring the passion into the right side of your heart, where your intellect responds with the voice of inclination toward selflessness. Most often the two inclinations are in conflict, so lift the matter to God, who will strengthen the goodness of the right, as our sages teach. Without God's help, the evil inclination could not be overcome. Talmud Berachot, the Yetzer HaTov and the Yetzer Hara, the inclination for selfless good and the inclination for selfish evil. The Alter Rebbe deliberately misreads the text to argue that the Benoni, in-betweener, judges between competing passions rather than is judged by them. Since everyone has both good and evil inclinations, there is no sense in being judged by them, but only internal conflict. The in-betweener is... Okay, this is the last paragraph. Here we go. Since everyone has both good and evil inclinations, there is no sense in being judged by them, but only by how ye handle them. The in-betweener lifts the competition to God. This is what is meant by the teaching. I set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life that you may live. Deuteronomy 30:19. If the word therefore is a command from God telling us which to choose, then there is in fact no choice at all. Choosing life should not be read as a command, but rather as a consequence. Torah and Tanya are saying that if you clearly see that the right side speaks for life and the left side speaks for death, you will naturally choose life. The real choice is not between life and death, but between seeing and not seeing. Internal conflict. The in-betweener is judged by both inclinations, judged by them, not ruled by them. The in-betweener listens to the claims of both inclinations and judges between them. When a physical desire arises, the left side of your heart... That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's another 10 minutes of Torah. We did it. We have become an in-betweener, or we are becoming an in-betweener, a Benoni. Okay, that's it. Dr. Australia, you want to say something? Mr. Q, do you want to say anything? Because I'm going to end the room. Hope you've enjoyed it. You liked it, Mr. Cuckoo?
Yo, John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It was a fun read, very informative.
It's very smart.
Huh?
It's very smart.
Yes, it's very smart what you read, yeah. I love when you do the intonations or whatever, like the singing thing. It's really good.
Thanks.
It's like what is that called? Kabuki? Like Japanese theater?
Yeah.
But your version of it. I really hope one of these days you're gonna blow up, become rich and famous with what you do, and then really change the world in a positive way. I mean, not just this small circle, but the big one as well.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's not about blowing up or being like famous or anything. It's really just about my own psychology, and then correcting myself. They say if you want to improve the world, you have to improve yourself.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but you know what I mean, right? Let's say we had like 1,000 more people in this room, and everybody went out with like this positive feeling of, this felt good, and then the wave would be bigger. That's all I mean, It wouldn't be a concentrated one-man army, but like an army of many.
Everybody's already there, but it's just like I just read, it's a question of seeing or not seeing or wanting to see. A lot of people do not want to see because they're not happy. But this is
It's messed up. Like they choose not to see, right?
Yeah, they don't want. It's difficult. But you can forget it. It's not like riding a bicycle. the brain has the unique ability to forget. So that's why, like, if you study, sacred texts, it's like a daily renewal, because like every day is like an infinite day. So meaning that, like, if you don't do the work, you stop doing the work, you will just it doesn't translate or process. Like, it needs to be done daily. It's like what we just read about the sponge. The longer you leave it in the water, the more it becomes the water.
Nice. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Yeah. Something about choosing not wanting to see. Like, how do you... Yeah, I guess, you just have to make the environment in such a way that it'll become more watery,
Mm-hmm.
Like spongy.
It's really sacred text. People need to read. And it's called books.
Yeah. Do you rather read like with an audience and out loud, or do you rather read like on silent somewhere in a cafe or maybe in your home?
Well, I'm creating 1-minute clips as I'm doing this reading on YouTube across like 10 different cell phones. So, this is the way I read, because I kill 2 birds or 3 birds with one stone, because I'm live streaming it on YouTube. I'm live streaming it here on Clownhouse. I'm putting it on YouTube.
Instagram or YouTube?
YouTube. And then if I want, I can download the 1-minute clip on YouTube and put it on Instagram. That's the good way to do it, but that takes a little extra work. That takes more time. I can do that later, but right now I'm just trying to stuff YouTube, and then I'll worry about Instagram later.
How serious were you for running for Congress, or was it Senate?
Yeah, I'm running for Congress right now. This is day number 7.
Oh, nice. How much time until you get the the yes or no?
It's November 3rd, 2026.
2026, November 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, so next year, November.
Yeah, next year in November, I'll know whether or not I'm going to DC as a congressman, or I'm going back to my mom's basement to keep reading books.
Okay, man. I hope you make the big jump, yo. Even though you're Republican, I think you're somewhat one of the better ones, at least.
I agree. I think a lot of these Republicans are just actors and fraudsters.
Mm. Yeah, and I think you're way more articulate than them. Like, I mean, you got a much higher IQ than some of those people, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
most of them inheritance money, essentially. It's not real merit or, grit and talent.
It's a lot of lawyers. And nobody really likes lawyers because you deal with lawyers when you have, negative change in your life, divorce, debt, death, etc. Lawyers are, unfortunately, only second to doctors in terms of, you know, importance in life, which it should be backwards. It should really be the philosophers who have, this is why people always complain that teachers teachers should be paid more, but unfortunately most teachers aren't useful enough to be paid more. Most teachers are just, low IQ, or they're just not fit to be teaching anymore because it's like a career appointed position.
God is beyond thought, but
Where do you live again?
I'm in Berlin, but I think I'm going to go to France tomorrow for a few months, actually. Like, I've been going back and forth. I was there like 2 weeks ago for 2 weeks, so it was good. Very different climate and sense of culture. There's like this one kid I remember happened like 2 days before I left back to Germany. This boy, I don't know, because I live in a very Jewish community there, actually, and so, like, right next to the European Parliament, I think it is. And this boy passed me by, I think maybe 10 years old or something like that. And I didn't understand what he said, but I thought I heard him say bonjour. And so I paused and I was like, yo, excuse me, so did you just say bonjour to me? And she was like, oui, yes. I said, bonjour to you. I said to him, whoa, it's just very unused. Like, I'm not used to it that somebody says this on the street. And so I was almost trying to apologize for me not having said anything back, like explaining to him that I come from a different place. And then we just left. And I think I'm not sure if I frightened the boy or if he just, I don't know, but he was a cool kid, he spoke like fluent English and French and maybe even some Hebrew, I don't know, but like, this was different. Yeah, and then I come back to Berlin and I don't know, man. I don't look Aryan enough, I think. But I always, when I speak to like Germans, sometimes they just, maybe it's the city, maybe it's just Berlin, I don't know, yeah. But like,